Okay. Walaikum salam. What's the ruling of combing your hair for men? In one hadith it says that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam forbade combing every day. Okay, those times are different to our times as well. There's also a hadith where the Prophet said whoever has hair should honor it, right? It's a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, can you comb your hair every day? Yes, you can. What is the hadith about then? The hadith, Allahu A'lam, from the commentaries that I've seen on it, it's about being obsessed with your appearance. Now, there are other ahadith where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam encouraged people to dress up, not dress up, to be smart and presentable. Don't go out in public with your hair all over the place, the beard, everywhere, and with filthy clothing on, ripped clothes, and these sorts of things. Something that's going to make a person look at you and look down at you. A believer has a sense of samt, husnul samt, which is something the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said is one of the traits of prophethood, right? Your samt is the way you carry yourself, right? That you carry yourself with dignity, and which doesn't mean looking down at others, but you recognize, you don't do anything that's going to cause yourself embarrassment or humiliation. You carry yourself with dignity, with calm. You don't be a person who's always panicking and these sorts of things. So it's like that. But someone who's obsessed with his appearance, slicking back the hair with the gel, and oh my God, that one hair's out of place, and I'm gonna sue my barber. He messed up my hair, or something like this, and constantly. So dress well, look smart, comb your hair, go out, do what you need to do, and carry on. Don't be constantly getting your mirror out or getting your phone out and selfie and sorting your hair out. That obsession isn't what's recommended, right? Rather, dress well, comb your hair, be smart in your appearance, and that's fine. So yes, you can comb it with that regard, just to remain neat and presentable. Yeah. And those times are different to our times. If someone went out, like for example, the fuqaha have a difference of opinion on having clothing that goes below the ankle, right? And so there's a hadith about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam forbidding it for men. So for your trousers or like an izar that you're wearing, a sarong to go below your ankles, and he forbade that for the Arabs. Why? Cloth was expensive. So people would buy extra cloth and let their clothing drag, behind them to show, I don't care about this cloth, I'm rich. That kind of attitude, right? So he forbade that. And the motive behind that is khuyala, to show a sense of superiority, right? Arrogance. And Sayyidina Abu Bakr was once, he was trying to, I believe he was running, and when he arrived at the Prophet, his izar was lower than his ankles, and he said, that you're not someone that does this, out of this arrogance, this khuyala. So the fuqaha said, it's for someone who doesn't do it out of arrogance, such as, in our times, it's just not a thing, like if your clothes are below your ankles, it doesn't mean you're rich, right? And that you're wearing, rather it's a type of clothing, right? And the brand and these sorts of things. So the ulama said that if it does hang below your ankles, it's not without this arrogance inside you, this feeling of superiority, it's not sinful. A person in that situation would not be sinful. And so in our times, like I saw a person actually, Allah reward him, but he had his trousers, I think it was a professional, he had the trousers, and it was distinctly above his ankles, which is fine. But like if you go into most workplaces, especially if you're working around non-Muslims, and they look at this, and if it doesn't, if it makes a person seem odd in front of them, there's certain things, like if you pray, you need to pray, you pray, right? That's an action there's no compromise on, whether you're in public or private, you pray. But here with the clothing, where it's not something that's a central aspect of the deen, and there is no arrogance in a person's heart. And then if if the clothing is made to seem odd, then they're going to look down at you. And if part of being in public, part of the intention every Muslim should make is like when you're leaving home, when you're just living in a non-Muslim land, is I want to represent Islam as best I can, right? And many a time people will just see someone. And I once heard about this man. He accepted Islam, and then a couple of weeks later, another guy came and accepted Islam. And because the first one did, not because he was just copying him, because he said, I've seen this guy and he's sincere. He's always been right in that way, just sincere. And I knew he'd never end up in the wrong, doing something wrong. And then so he found out, he became Muslim, looked into it, was also convinced, and he became Muslim, right? So, our actions represent Islam, whether it's whether if you just cut someone off, when you're driving, and they look at you and they see a Muslim face, or someone who would look Muslim, or to when you give way to someone, or someone drops their shopping and you help them pick it up. These are all actions. And most people won't look at the individual, right? But it will leave some aspect of the influence of Islam. And historically speaking, character has been one of the major, good character has been one of the major factors in people entering Islam. So we have a duty. We have a duty to Allah, and we have a duty to our Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam to try and represent Islam as best we can. So back to the point, that if the clothing is like this, to the point that they're making fun out of you, then you've kind of defeated that purpose. Just like what we say about, say, a lady in the West wearing niqab. I mean, someone wants to wear it, ahlan wa sahlan, and Allah, Allah reward you for your good intentions. But if someone was not to wear it, and then you intend, which is better, right? Because it can act as a barrier. And then you have when you got people like our former Prime Minister, calling ladies letterboxes and stuff like that, and insensitive statements, then to do something to avoid Islam seeming unadoptable, right, would be rewarded. So what was the original question? I've forgotten. Combing your hair. Combing your hair. So yeah, you can comb your hair. One thing I found in my time abroad with the ulama is sometimes some of the points of most benefit that I got from them wasn't always in the depths of a book. Rather, it was in the tangents in a lesson, like this one. Allahu A'lam. All right.
La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah.